first, my condolences go out to the King family. And secondly, I would like to say, Ron Paul, Ron Paul, Ron Paul. The Republicans have had the neocons, neoconservatives so much, they don't even recognize a true Republican like Ron Paul, a true, strict constitutionalist, and a civil libertarian.
Was there anything in particular that he said last night that impressed you or made him stand out above the other candidates?
Everything, Ron Paul.
Give me one example.
One example, we're in Iraq. You know, it's like he said, we've been bombing them for 10 years. They didn't have no Navy, no Air Force. They didn't have nothing.
They really scare me. I can't see any single one of them, except for, again, maybe Ron Paul and maybe Mike Huckabee, who might have a chance of getting across to the public and saying, you know what, I'm not insane.
On our line for Republicans, your reaction to last night's debate?
I thought my favorite was Ron Paul, and my comment this morning was on how Fox News, even though he won the text vote, especially Hannity being the Republican side of Hannity and Combs, didn't give him the time of day, was just disrespectful for him. And you think for him, I mean, they call it You Choose 2008, and America seemed to show again and again whenever Ron Paul's in a debate, he seems to win it. And if it's America chooses, you think that, and he wins the polls, you'd think that they would give him a little bit of leeway, even though they don't agree with, you know, his political line.
I think Ron Paul is the only candidate for me. I like John McCain, but unfortunately he has to echo some of the far right's opinions on the war, and that's how I see John McCain. Ron Paul is like a light in the darkness for those people. But Ron Paul is just head and shoulders above everybody else there. I pray to God that he has a chance. And as for the other fellow that said Sean Hannity didn't give Ron Paul any respect that he deserves, well, I mean, take into consideration, this is Sean Hannity several days ago. He's still dwelling on Clinton lying about an affair he had nothing to do with the safety of our country.
Good morning. Yes, I agree with the first few callers that Ron Paul had the best idea. I think Ron Paul is the Republican that I've known for years, and I am a Democrat, but I think he is definitely has the right idea. He talks about the Constitution. We shouldn't be going into other countries unless there's an imminent danger, and there was no imminent danger.
I didn't know that much about him until the first debate, and then I think he won the first debate, and so I started looking him up online and finding out, and I find it quite interesting the way he's being treated by the press. After the first debate, he won on the MSNBC poll, but they still kind of ignore him.
Let's move on to Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, I thought Ron Paul won it hands down. And I feel sorry for the Republicans who have to sit there and actually take in Rudy Giuliani and McCain insanity. Ron Paul was the only one that actually made, and it's sad that Sean Hannity shouted over him, shouted him down. That's why he won all the text polls. Ron Paul won it. And it's right. The media don't give him a lot of play because the media is owned by these corporations that are conservative, and they want a conservative agenda.
Republicans.
Hi. The guy that says that anybody who's for Ron Paul is not a real Republican doesn't know his history. The history that Ron Paul mentioned was correct. His reasoning and his logic was correct. I firmly believe that if the Republicans don't choose Ron Paul as their candidate, they're not going to win the next election. And I think a lot of the press is motivated by the fact that they want a candidate that has a lot of money in their campaign war chest to spend on advertising through the media itself. So they're not going to pick a candidate to push that doesn't have a lot of money in their campaign.
Greensboro, North Carolina.
I would also like to rebut the statement made with regard to Ron Paul not being a true conservative or a true Republican. I believe that the Republican Party was once known as a party of small government and not expanding the federal powers of the government, and Ron Paul stands for those things. Though he wasn't given a sufficient amount of time to express his ideas and concepts for the American public, I believe that he won resoundingly with regard to last night's debate.
I don't understand Republicans. They need to just go ahead and elect Ron Paul. I mean, what you want is a candidate that crosses all boundaries. You know, you want Democrats to vote for your candidate. That's how they win. Right now, it looks like Republicans are only about 30% of the American population.
Why do you say it was a hatchet job?
It was obvious all candidates had their chance to attack Ron Paul, and after the show, all they did was attack Ron Paul without backing up their assertions with facts and evidence, as opposed to how Ron Paul backed up his assertions. And it's quite obvious. And so, yeah, Ron Paul, everybody's scared of him. Corporate media doesn't want somebody who's telling the truth, stand up for the Constitution, because that goes antithetical to
I watched the debate last night, and I liked what Ron Paul had spoke, and he came out and spoke what was on his mind.
Strongly agree with the gentleman from Texas. Ron Paul is the only one that showed any compassion for the subjects that were spoken last night. He's the only one that spoke the truth. I am very impressed that he spoke the truth about 9/11. I've been following 9/11 since the day it happened.
But Ron Paul's a loudmouth. That's interesting. I like that.
I got to say, Ron Paul, he's the one I'd vote for. The rest of them are just a bunch of puppets. He speaks the truth. He speaks about the Constitution. People are afraid of the Constitution, especially the media, the Democrats and the Republicans. They're afraid of it. They're trying to keep this man down. They don't want to give him the time of day he deserves.